So like I said last video, I wanted to introduce this segment because there's a few stories from my childhood that stick out as quite wild and unique, and I rarely get to tell them in as much detail as I'd like to. So I'm going to put them all up on here for y'all's viewing pleasure, and so hopefully I never have to leave them half told ever again. I'm often told that I'm quite stubborn, and as much as I don't care to admit it, it's kind of true. This is the most egregious example of my stubbornness, and I hope that by telling this story, some of you might learn how too much pride can really be a danger.
I think all it's going to do is make you look bad.
Probably. This is Lost on the Beach.
How original.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's the year 2000. I'm with my extended family at the beach, and ink surf is up. Nature calls. I tell my dad I'm off to the loo, I go in, do my business, and I'm back out again. I wander back out onto the sand, and one thing to note is that the beach is busy. I don't find anyone I recognise right away. But I don't let it worry me. I play it cool and retrace my steps, or at least I think I do, because unbeknownst to me, I'm caught in this 3 steps forward, 2 steps back loop, ever so slowly wandering away from where my people are. It's been about 15 minutes since I told my dad I went to the loo and I haven't returned. He goes and checks on me, and obviously I'm not in there. He goes back out onto the beach and asks the others if they've seen me. They haven't. They all start asking around, anyone seen an 8-year-old boy? Brown hair? Blue eyes? No one has. Meanwhile, I'm wandering along, still trying to find them, drifting ever so slowly away. I begin to get agitated, and I make it my responsibility to go find them, because I feel like I need to redeem myself for losing them in the first place. And I get stuck in this mindset for a very long time.
Idiot.
An hour passes and no one's seen me, so Dad finally decides to ring the popo. He gives them the lowdown on what's happened, and they show up at the beach. With them is a detective.
Are you sure he looked like that?
Positive. Now this is where things get pretty intense. The detective has to inform my dad that as well as myself, a young girl has also gone missing from the area.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, there's more. The detective tells my dad that in the past, there was an episode where a young girl was abducted from the same toilet that I was last known to go into! Panic ensues. Somehow this information slips out amongst all the, has anyone seen an 8-year-old boy? And it's getting passed around by strangers, who are spreading the story from the beach to the park behind it, and even out onto the street. Meanwhile, I'm ages away, looking around and giving myself all kinds of shit. Look at yourself, you losty. Probably miles away from them by now, you dumb losty. There's still no sign of me, and my dad has to make the call to my mum. He tells her everything, and now the two are beside themselves. And 2 more hours pass.
If I was your parent, I'd kill you.
The sun's about to set and the detective approaches my dad. He says we're widening the search and sending out a helicopter with heat-seeking sensors on it. He says with so many people on the beach, it won't exactly be easy to distinguish my heat signature. But it should be easier to find something once it's dark and everyone's left.
Find something? Like a body in the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah, he had to be particular with his words. And funnily enough, I specifically remember the moment the helicopter flew over me, because I looked up at it thinking, gee, I wonder what that's about. Then I heard police sirens in the street. They haven't found me, mind you, they're just wailing past. But it's only now I'm beginning to feel a little afraid. It's only now I'm beginning to get a little less frustrated and a little more sorry for myself. I think about how long it's been since anybody's seen me, and I think, oh, they're probably a little worried about me.
Just a little.
So I cave. I leave my pride at the door and ask some beachgoers for help. They buzz the popo arrive. I tell them who I am. They drive me back, and while I'm looking out the window I realise how far I've wandered. We arrive, I get out of the car, my dad sees me, he rushes over and hugs me. He's bawling his eyes out, and we're both pretty emotional at this point. And then, I'll never forget this bit. I look over his shoulder, and there's just a sea of people all watching. So, take it from me. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If I'd just left my pride at the door when I should have, I could have saved so many people from unnecessary concern. Thankfully, the detective informs us that the girl who had gone missing was also found. And that wraps up Lust on the Beach. Next time we do this segment, Ink's going to talk all about how he came to be, aren't you?
You don't want to miss out on that one. Make sure you hit subscribe.
And hit that like button while you're at it.
And make sure you join our OnlyFans.
Just imagine.